In today's video, I'll be talking about the top 5 best GPUs for May 2017. These are going to be the best performing GPUs for a variety of budgets. If you want to find out more, then keep watching. So hey guys, this is TeamOverclocked. Now graphics cards are a really important part of your PC when it comes to gaming. Games will use all the GPU horsepower it can get. So to help you guys out, I picked the top 5 best GPUs for gaming. All of these GPUs are going to be linked in the description, so check that out if you're interested. But without further ado, let's get right into the list. To start it off, we have the Gigabyte RX 460 for $73. Now this is an amazing value for entry-level gamers. This Gigabyte model has a great dual fan cooler and comes clocked at 1.2 GHz. It also has 2 GB of VRAM, which should be enough for 1080p gaming. This should let you game at 1080p medium to high settings at around 60 FPS in major games like GTA 5 and Fallout 4. This should also max out lighter games like League of Legends and Dota 2 at 1080p and can even push to 1440p and 4K in these lighter games if you drop the settings a little. Although you're not maxing out every game with this GPU, you're still getting an experience that will leave you satisfied. Next up, we have the EVGA GTX 1050 Ti for $120. This is a card that balances price and performance very well. This specific model has a dual fan cooler, which is hard to find on these budget-oriented cards. It's also clocked at 1.5 GHz and has 4 GB of VRAM, which is the perfect amount for gaming at 1080p. This GPU is definitely capable of 1080p gaming at high to ultra settings with decent frame rates in all of the major AAA titles. All around, this is the best GPU at this price point. Next up, we have the EVGA GTX 1060 for $169. Now this GPU has received some price cuts recently, which makes this a good value for once. This model comes with a basic single fan cooler and is clocked at 1.8 GHz. It also has 3 GB of VRAM, which is pretty much the bare minimum for higher end 1080p GPUs like this. This was the main disadvantage of this GPU compared to the 4 GB RX 480, but due to the price cut, you can't really complain. In gaming, this should max out most games at 1080p without a problem. In games that need a lot of VRAM like GTA 5, you might be limited by the 3 GB frame buffer. It would have been nice to see 4 GB of VRAM on this GPU. Nonetheless, this should still provide an exceptional gaming experience at 1080p. Next up, we have the Gigabyte RX 580 for $220. Now this is pretty much an overclocked RX 480. Although it's not what you'd expect for a refresh, it does provide a small but decent performance boost that makes this just barely faster than the GTX 1060 in gaming. This model has a decent dual fan cooler and a clock speed of 1.35 GHz. It also has a massive 8 GB frame buffer, which is great for gaming at 1440p and above. This is a great 1080p GPU and should max out basically all games at this resolution. This is also going to be a great GPU for 1440p gaming at high settings, which is great. I think this is one of the best all-around GPUs out there right now. Last but definitely not least, we have the Zotac GTX 1070 for $340. Now this is the cheapest 1070 I've seen since launch. Although this is a mini series, it's still a fully fledged 1070. Now this model comes clocked at 1.7 GHz and has 8 GB of GDDR5. At that resolution, you're getting 60 FPS at around max settings in basically all games, which is amazing performance. There might be a few games where you will have to tinker with the settings, but in the end, it will still provide a good experience at 1440p. If you want to check any of these GPUs out, I will link them all in the description, so check that if you're interested. But anyways guys, that's all for today. If you liked the video, please be sure to overclock the like button. If you didn't like it, please dislike this video and subscribe for more content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one.